how to thrive after a crisis. And so the three words that I focused on was retrain and reframe and reposition. So today I'm going to talk about repositioning yourself. But before I do that, I want to review just to make sure we're all on the same page. The first word is retrain. And so in that first video, I talked about how important it is that you have a mental picture or a mental vision, or that you are aware of what's going on around you and you're able to think logically, which really means that you are focused with consistent, attentive focus on a subject matter, because you want to be able to project and predict and to assess, first of all, where you are right now, okay, emotionally and psychologically and physically, and then where you think you need to be. So that deals with your mindset, dealing with your mindset and dealing with those belief systems that may need to change. Because like I said in that video, life as we know it has changed. Okay. Business has changed. We must now adapt. And that leads me to the next video that I did when I talked about reframing and what that looks like. And I told a story about, a true story about a woman named Corrie ten Boom, who wrote the book, The Hiding Place, in 1971. I was introduced to the book in 2007. But in the book, it's an outline of her story of how she went from being a watchmaker, a person who was gifted in repairing and restoring watches and jewelry, to allowing God to help her to repackage her giftings after the ending of World War II to become a person who repaired and restored lives. And how you have to take what you have to take what's been given to you, and you have to learn how to reframe it, repackage it, represent it in a way that is going to answer a call and meet a need, which helps you to thrive. The thing about crisis is this, or anything in life, once change happens, it's happened. You can't unchange it. You know what I'm saying? So in other words, once okay, I'll give you an example. When I was younger, my mother did not let me watch movies, like scary movies, like the little fun stuff, because she noticed how it affected me. Because of the way I was formed and fashioned by God, and because of the way my mind works, my imagination just took off. So once I saw something, I couldn't unsee it. It was in there, like Prego, it was in there. And then I had to kind of work through the process, okay? So she learned that quickly about me. And the same is true here. Once we experience something, we don't lose that memory. We may be healed of the pain. Listen carefully. We may be healed of the pain of the memory or the sting associated with that negative memory, okay? But we don't forget. Unless we have amnesia or brain injury or brain trauma, we don't forget. So what do we do with what we know? And so that's where we are right now. We can't unlearn it. We can't erase it. We can counter it. We can oppose it. We can reject it. We can accept it, or we can adapt. Okay, it's really important. So that's where we are right now, is going from the feelings of frustration to becoming innovative, going from surviving to actually thriving and being better on the other side. And so that's important that you understand that as we move forward in this next and last video. Dr. Miles Monroe, he made a statement. In fact, I would love for you, if you can, to get a hold of his book. The name of the book is The Benefit of Change. If you haven't read it, I would love for you to grab that book and read it. I think it will help you to put things in perspective and have an objective outlook on perhaps what you're facing or what you will face in life. And one of the things he said was, crisis has a shelf life, which means that there is a beginning and there's an end. And he said the key is you've got to outlast it. So the crisis will end, but it should not end you. The crisis will end, but it should not end you. You should outlast the crisis. Another quote that I love was by Corrie ten Boom, which I talked about in my second video. I love this quote. I post it all the time because it's so powerful. It helps me when I'm tempted to get worried or have anxiety. And the quote is, "There is no panic in heaven. God does not have problems, only plans." It helped me to understand that there is nothing new under the sun, and that there is nothing that God has not either permitted or sent. And so he's not falling apart. We shouldn't be falling apart. He's being strategic and thinking about the future. In fact, he's already there. He's awesome. He's in the present, past, and the future all at the same time. So we should be thinking forward. Anything in us that is panicking is something that we need to stop and address. Now, I'm not saying this to condemn anyone. If you're dealing with anxiety and you're dealing with fear, irrational fear, God can deliver you from that. He can walk you through that. He can put his finger on the area in you that needs to be surrendered to his authority, and you can be free of that. But the goal should be a panic-free life. That should be your goal. God is not taken or caught off guard by anything that happens in this world. He saw it coming. He saw it start and he saw it end. There is no panic in heaven, and there should not be any panic in you. Repositioning is basically you changing your position or readjusting your position for a better outcome. So, for example, have you ever been at a football game or a basketball game and you're trying to watch certain things and you can't see because people are in your way? You know, if you're short like me, okay, you can't always see. So I've always been challenged in that area. So I have been learned to be creative in how I can see things. So sometimes I have to reposition. So I found that for my height, when I'm at situations like that, either I have to be way up high or I have to be down the front, because I have to make sure there are no obstructions in my way. So repositioning helps you to gain a different vantage point. I'm going to give you 3 points. The first point is letting go of what no longer works. Now, Dr. Miles Monroe in his book talks about traditions. I believe in traditions. The traditions are important, especially if they are governing our reverence and honor for the Most High God. They're very important. However, there are some traditions that actually get in the way. And so we have to know the difference. We have to know what we need to hold on to and what we need to let go of. Methods, let me just talk about methods here. Methods are really the vehicle for you to accomplish or reach your destination. So the methods can be let go of. You can change a method, you can get rid of a method, you can embrace a method. But what we've done, a lot of us as humans, because we like comfort, guys, we like to be comfortable. We love it. Listen, when you're vegging out on the couch watching movies, you're in your PJs, okay, your hair is pulled up in a bun or in a bonnet or whatever, and you're comfortable. There's nothing wrong with that type of comfort. However, comfort is the enemy of change. Dr. Miles explains that as well in his book. So methods can keep us in a comfort zone. And when you find yourself saying, well, that's not how we always did it, stop, and ask yourself, where is that coming from? Am I saying it because I'm afraid of change? Am I saying it because I don't understand what's going on? Or am I saying it because this is legitimately something that I need to resist? Because remember what I said, you can either oppose, you can counter, you can reject, you can accept, or you can adapt. And so it varies based on what the situation is. Let's stay with methods for a minute, letting go of things that no longer work. Now, if you have a vehicle, let's say it's your first car, so it has sentimental value. You know, you worked hard for it, you saved your money, by the sweat of your brow, you got this car. It was good to you. It was really good to you. You got some good memories, going to different places, hanging out with friends, going to picnics, whatever, concerts. But then you notice that the car is starting to have problems. You get one thing fixed and something else breaks down. And so you find that the problems are becoming more complex and becoming more expensive. And then eventually you realize, I need to let go of this. I know I love this thing. I love this car. This car means a lot to me. There's a lot of fond memories attached to this vehicle. It's been good to me. But right now, it's not working like I need it to work. Please hear me. The car, we're using an example, is no longer working for me like I need for it to work. Let's say, for example, you got a job out of town and you need to travel across the state line. But this car keeps breaking down. So it's now working against you and against the life that you have. That's when you know when you need to let go of something that no longer works. It's time to upgrade. You cannot receive anything new or do anything new with old equipment, with an old mindset, with old ideas, with old methods. The two are not designed to work together. So you get an upgrade in the car. Now all of a sudden you got Bluetooth, you got this backup feature where you don't even have to turn around. You can look at your camera to see what's behind you. You've got all of these great amenities and you think, my goodness, why did it take me so long to switch? What was I holding on to? What was I being loyal to? I was being loyal to a memory, but I was holding on to a method thinking that was making me loyal to a memory, when in actuality, it was just me resisting the need to change because something that I have in my hand, in my possession, is no longer working. To reposition yourself, you've got to be willing to let go of what no longer works. Step number 2 to repositioning yourself is to celebrate your success, because you want to build your confidence. You want to build your confidence in what you've done in the past. Now, before you get comfortable in the past, I want you to understand that even though it was a success and you learned from it and you grew by it, you cannot be married to it. Because when you're preoccupied with yesterday, you tend to say, okay, well, if it happened this way, okay, if I went down Main Street and took a right on Howard and then took a left on Jones, that's the only way I can get there. That's the only way I can get there. But then what happens when there's a roadblock, when there's a detour, when you can't get down Main Street, when you can't go down Howard or turn down Jones? What do you do then? What? You're frozen. You are frozen in your past success and your past victories. And it keeps you from being able to see how you can be successful down the road, because you've locked yourself into a certain way, okay, of thinking. Well, I was successful in that, so if that's how it worked the first time, then that's how it has to work the next time. So with successes, our past successes, we want to look at those because we want to build our confidence, because we're dealing with change. We're dealing with transition, and everything is really unfamiliar. It's really unsettling. And so we've got to have some confidence. We've got to be able to generate some boldness, because we're moving in uncharted territories. We're becoming pioneers, okay? So we've got to be bold. Think about it. When the settlers came from England here, they had to have courage. They had to have courage, because they crossed thousands of miles of dangerous sea and water and did not know if they were going to make it. And then when they got here, did not know what they were going to face. So you've got to have some resolve in you. You've got to have some kind of courage and bravery to say, okay, this fear is real, but I'm going to face it in spite of. I'm going to keep going because my dream is bigger than what I'm seeing in front of me. So to do that, sometimes you have to go back and look at the things that you've done well and celebrate those successes and learn from them, but not become so preoccupied with them that you're frozen in how things are going to look in the future. Don't take an experience and make it a movement. Don't take an experience and make it a movement. The final one is the third one, and the final one is basically, once you have let go of what no longer works, once you've built your confidence, once you understand that past success, you should not be frozen in your past success, you should learn from it and grow by it, then you've got to rise up. You have to get up. You have to rise up with the capability of knowing what you bring to the table. So you're changing your position, you're repositioning. So one of the ways that you rise up is, we talked about methods, is updating your methods, updating your strategies, reassessing your goals. Now, your vision probably will not change unless it was not a correct vision in the first place. Okay, that's a whole nother topic. We can talk about that on another live. But what we want to look at is methods. So take the time to update your methods. If you need to learn a new skill, if you need to revamp or sharpen your existing skills, do what you have to do so that you can be positioned to rise up. The next thing that happens when you rise up with updated methods and confidence and boldness is you become empowered. You become a person who has the ability to walk in authority. Now, one of the ways that you become powerful is to build networks. So you may be a lone ranger. You may be used to doing things by yourself for many reasons. Maybe you were let down in the past. Maybe you tried to work with people, it just didn't work out. Whatever it is, you've got to shake all that stuff off. Leaving that in the past, shake it off. So not only are you leaving your past success in the past, but leave your past failures there too. Shake it off and say, okay, I need to reposition myself. In order to do that, I have to build networks so that I can be empowered and become powerful in this new world that I'm in this new reality that I'm in. And so that happens by building networks. Now, when you start to do that, you connect yourself to resources. You connect yourself and give yourself access to things that you would not have had access to before. And that also empowers you. Now, once you rise up with updated methods and with new strategies and new goals, and you are building this network and being connected to resources and gaining access to resources that you need to become empowered, now you can come on the scene as somebody who has validity. You can show up on the scene as someone who can add value. Remember what I said to you in the second video about Corrie ten Boom? Remember how I said that when she got out of the concentration camp, she was faced with this decision of, what do I do now? My whole life up to this point has been on this road, and now that road is completely gone. What do I do now? And she had to repackage her gifts and her skills in a way, she had to reframe them in a way where they met an existing need, because after the war, the landscape of her country had completely changed. So people weren't looking for watches, but they were looking for hope. They were looking for comfort. And so the same way she repaired that watch, the care and the gentleness and the compassion that she used to repair a watch with fine little parts, she now took that approach in caring for lives. So again, taking what you have and becoming a valid source for people and being one who adds value. That's going to position you to be able to not only meet a need and answer a call, but it will position you to thrive. I do have an online coaching program. It's a 6-part online coaching program that's called Limitless, Breaking Free. And so I go into a lot of detail about how to add value and different things, how to let go of things that no longer work. I really go into great detail. I do have that. I will share the link so that you can, if you want to invest in yourself, because again, that's another point that I did mention in repositioning. You've got to invest in yourself. I would love for you to check out that online 6-part coaching program. It's a very involved and comprehensive program that you can dig into. If any of what I've been sharing over the last couple of days is ringing with you and you feel like, okay, this is something I need to push in a little bit further, I need to dig in a little bit deeper, then I would love for you to be a part of that program. Thank you so much for hanging with me. I know that there will be victory after this, and you will outlast this crisis. This crisis has a shelf life. It will wake up your potential. It will wake up your possibilities, and you will move forward, and you will be better, stronger, and you will not be bitter. You will not be bitter. Thank you for joining me. Have a blessed day. But sometimes it takes some reflection. So remember when I talked about retraining your mindset, you have to be very contemplative. So this may be a process where you may have to go through and say, God, show me. Show me what's in my life that is no longer working. Show me what's in my life that is counterproductive. Am I holding on to a tradition that's not based on anything that is pushing me closer to you? Okay, again, I'm not against traditions at all. I honor traditions. There's a place for them. We need them. They keep us grounded in our faith. But some of the things that we've made traditions were never meant to be. They were basically meant to be a method. It was meant to get us from point A to point B.